Hello, literature lovers. Today I want to discuss Samuel Beckett, born in Dublin. He was one of the leading dramatists and writers of 20th century, and in his theatrical images and prose writings, Beckett, achieved a spare beauty and timeless vision of human suffering, shot through with dark comedy and humor. He received Nobel Prize in 1969. It was praised him for a body of work that in a new forms of fiction, and the theatre has translated the destitution of modern man into his exaltation. Talking about his family, he was born on Good Friday, so 13th April 1906, in Ireland village of Fockrock, 8 miles south of Dublin. So it's a beautiful house. Beckett attended primary school in the centre of Dublin, and he then boarded at the Royal School, the alma mater of Oscar Wilde. In 1923, he entered Trinity College Dublin, where he studied French and Italian. He became an accomplished sportsman at school and at university, exulting at rugby, tennis, cricket, golf, and boxing. Beckett's friends and family expected him to follow an academic career after a brief stint teaching in a private school in Belfast. He went as a teaching assistant in English to the distinguished in Paris, October 1928, and 2-year exchange fellowship. Throughout his life, he earned the love and esteem of a number of women, many of whom remained long-term friends. He fell in love with the first time as an undergraduate with a compelling fellow student, McCarthy, who is thinly distinguished as the Alba in some of Beckett's early fiction poetry. Beckett was tremendously well-read, intellectual man steeped in European culture and with a lifelong love of music and painting. His writing draws on the work of huge range of European writers and philosophers. In Paris, Beckett published his first critical essays on James Joyce's work in progress, which became Finnegan's Wake, and his first piece of fiction, a short story called Assumption, both in Avant-Garde Literary Magazine translation. Beckett has often suffered from panic attacks, anxiety, and depression. In 1933, these reached such intensity that he decided to go to London to seek psychological help. He underwent psychosis from almost 2 years and also read books on psychology by Freud, Alter, and Rank. In November 1937, after a 6-month tour of Germany, Beckett appeared as a prosecution witness in a notorious court case in Dublin. Harry Sinclair, Peggy's uncle, had taken a legal action actually, against the well-known writer come media Oliver himself and lampooned James Joyce, Ulysses Act, Buck Milligan. On January 6, Beckett was stabbed by a pimp on the Parisian street. For 2 obvious reasons, the knife was very close to his heart. Friends and family rushed to his bedside, and he reconciled with his mother. When War was declared in September 39. Beckett was in Dublin visiting his mother. He quickly made arrangements to return to Paris, famously declaring his preference for France at war to Ireland at peace. There are few explicit references to the war in his work, but there is every sign that he deeply imprinted himself on his imagination seems to have contributed to a radical change of direction. Waiting for Godot was written between October 48 to January 49. It's more diversion from the taxing as Beckett saw it. Business of purpose, composition. It's a French director, and unusually enough, money was raised to put it on a small Persian theater in January 53. Apart from the voice, spent with time with visiting his mother. Her death from Parkinson's disease caused him predictable anguish and guilt. Many more in the work of Endgame. In 1956, BBC commissioned Beckett to write a radio play, and exploration of a new medium seems to have invigorated his creativity. During the 60s and 70s, Beckett directed several productions of his own work in Germany, France, and England. After his novel trilogy, his next major text was How It Is. It was narrated by a man crawling in the mud, dragging a sack of canned food behind him. This novel, if such is a term, is related to bursts of unpunctured speech. Beckett revolutionized post-war theater and acknowledged led staff for many novelists, painters, and visual artists. He is an immense literary legacy. Along with Yeats and Joyce, he stands as one of the three Irish writers of 20th century who have changed literature forever. Beckett's example endears us as one who bravely and unflinchingly explored the darkest and most desolate corners of human experience. Of him, it was justly said that he looked at the face of the Medusa but did not turn to stone. That's all for Samuel Beckett. The pictures are quite expressing. I'm sure you must have got an overall idea about his legacy. His work, Waiting for Godot, is also one of my personal favorites. Thanks for being part of it. Thank you.